Hello and welcome. We're back, Monday Club. This week is EV for Dummies. I'm an EV dummy.
I'm
Jamie's
an
an
EV dummy.
EV dummy. And we have got a EV expert or YouTuber, EV Nick in the house.
Hello, how you doing?
All right, mate.
Right, very lackluster. Right, before we carry on, I just want to do a quick shout out to this week's sponsor, and our sponsor, as always, is Verso. They make excellent Fuseboards, excellent accessories, tested to the highest standard. And a bit later on in the episode, we've got a question from them, so stay tuned for that. Anyway, that is out of the way. What are we talking about? EV for Dummies. Jamie,
Nick,
kick off.
I don't know, Nick. I've not met Nick until 3 minutes ago on this call. He's just told me he's not a spark yet, so I'm going to ask him. Tell us about yourself then, Nick. Tell me about you.
So basically my background is in college. I did electronics, that kind of area. And I realized there was no money really in it there was too many people going into it. There wasn't a lot of money. So I ended up quitting and doing other jobs, sales related, car sales related. And when I started doing EVs about 5 years ago, I realized that there was no information on chargers. All it was is I fit this charger. This is the charger that everyone should have.
Yeah, I can vouch for that.
Yeah. So I thought, I know the industry. I know the car industry. I know a bit about electronics. I know enough to get chargers, review them and talk about them.
So what was your, sorry, mate, what was your electronics? So PCBs, components, that kind of thing, yeah?
Yeah.
And are you qualified on that? Did you get anywhere with that?
No, I dropped out. So,
but is it a hobby you keep in with it?
I've got an AGCSE level in electronics.
Don't tell anyone that.
Is it something you're interested in anyway? So you've got a little bit of a passion for that, and
yeah. It's. I mean, my background's sort of IT, electronics, computer related stuff. So
got you.
I'm a tech guy. I like tech. So
I couldn't tell, mate, but from your background.
For audio listeners, it looks like he is in a neon festival.
It's RGB. He looks like he listens to Linus Tech Tips to me.
Do you want some of it? Oh God, you can have any colour you want.
For audio viewers, Nicky's changing the colours.
Oh, go on.
Make it all romantic. I've gone on red tonight, look.
Well, the ones above me are just a hue on spots, and then this is just an RGB strip behind me.
It's all going off. But yeah, so you know about your cars, you know about your electronics, so you're already placed. So what happened? How did you become EV Nick?
So I'm from the car trade, so I sell cars for a living. So I started selling EVs, and there was literally no information for people buying EVs. So I thought I'll start reviewing them, doing stuff, how to buy a used EV, how to buy a new EV, and I just wanted to get free help out there. It's never about making money. You two are going to take the piss out of this, but I've got a background of, I'm a tree hugger. I care about the environment. That's why
I'm a tree hugger. I don't mind admitting it, mate. I'm a tree hugger.
Yeah. So, that's what got me into EVs, electronics, stuff like that. So I just wanted to sort of branch out, tell more people about EVs. And then just as I've sort of been in the industry, sort of blogging on stuff on EVs and electric cars, I just noticed there was no information on chargers. Nothing.
So where did you start? Sorry, where did you start with this? Was this like written blogs? You just straight to YouTube?
Just straight to YouTube. Yeah, so just straight to YouTube. So I started YouTube, and in about a year, I got to about 1,000 subscribers, and it just kept going over. And now this year it's just plateaued. But it's
right. What you got out of interest?
14,000 at the moment.
Oh, well, that's a good crack then. Oh, that's 13,500 more than me.
And about 10,000 more than us.
Yeah, but it's plateaued. Why? Is it because it's over? Is there loads of you now? Not you, but you know what I mean? Loads of people doing the same.
I honestly think it's because I've started doing more EV charge stuff. So it's most of my established audience were already EV owners looking at
right. Okay.
So I think because I've started doing EV charge stuff, it's kind of plateaued a little bit because it's more to the Sparky or new EV driver, and they've got the information for a charger, and they don't want to see any more videos.
Right, because it's not like I'm not. Who needs to know constantly about EV chargers? Obviously, owners buy one and they probably sit with it for 10 years, don't they? But yeah. Sparkies clearly want to be keeping up to date. So your website is obviously. I've not seen it.
Don't say website.
Well, don't say website. Welcome to the 90s. I've got a website on the www. So what I'm saying is, if you are Sparkies and you want to know what's hot this week, it's worth keeping an eye on your site. Apparently, I haven't checked it, but I'm going to have a look after this to see what is happening, what's new. And if anything new comes on the scene, are you getting it? Are you reviewing it?
Yeah, so I've just got a new charger that the view went up about 3 weeks ago from a company called Simpson and Partners. And
so you're going all out. So you're like searching for all of the like not necessarily out of the like the Rolex and the My Energies and Zappies and all that sort of stuff.
So I've done 12 chargers altogether.
Nice.
It's a fair old whack of charges, to be fair.
Yeah.
But I've got to pull this, right, because for reasons that will be revealed next week and on my social media. But what I want to know is, are you buying them? Are you being given them? Why are you reviewing them? How are you reviewing it? I want to know the nuts and bolts, because what we've got our viewers are Sparkies in real life going out and buying this stuff. And if we're going to say this guy's worth checking out, we want to know the nuts and bolts behind that. Why are you getting them? Will you get it for free? Do you disclose all that?
So it changed sort of this year. So the last, if you'll be able to tell because the format of the video has changed. But
right.
If you look at the old video, so originally, when you'll see a white background, a white table unboxing background, I'm taking them to pieces on a white box. The deal with all those chargers back then was anyone who sent me a charger free of charge, sent me the charger, no contracts were signed, no agreements were signed. They sent me a charger and I reviewed it. So
and that's you're taking it apart, showing the gubbins,
taking it apart, showing the gubbins, showing everything, going installing it, saying how easy it is for me. I mean, I'm a novice, so I mean, let's be honest. A charger,
do you screw into a bit of wood in your garage?
Yeah, screw into a bit
I have seen your videos, right? I've seen it before. Full disclosure, I know you are. I don't know who you are, but yeah. So you're showing, which is useful to Spark, because you're showing it being screwed to the wall, how the fixing works, all that kind of stuff. Yeah, so that's all there.
Yeah, and then I'll set them up, I'll customize them, and then I'll go into the app. So what the users want to see in the app, because the thing is, you could have a charger that's bloody good, but the app could be absolute crap, and the customer's not going to download
it's a whole
it and
package.
And we have heard of these. Like some people really struggle. I'm not saying like I'm a massive fan of My Energy, but some people say that like getting everything synced up can be a bit of a chore. Well, it used to be. I don't know if that's still the case.
We'll come to that in a bit, because I want to. I'm a massive fan of Margie. That's my favourite at the minute, and I want to speak about that in a bit. But yeah, so the white background, then what? What happened on your channel?
So then there'll be some video. So any video that I've been paid for will have a little thing at the top left, and it'll say sponsored video. And if I've received money to physically say something on a video, I'll say in the video, this is an advert. This is a sponsorship. I'll declare it. I always say it at the start, because I find that there's some YouTubers who review charge points on the internet that take large sums of money and don't tell anybody. And if you go right down below in the description, it'll say for entertainment purposes only.
Oh, is that the get out clause, is it? I'm going to use that one on my social media
legally, if you took them to court under the Advertising Standards Agency, they get sued. So I follow the ASA rules for YouTubers, influencers by the book.
Do you think we should know about ASA rules?
Right, Nick, we're having another podcast after this about that. But we need a bit of information on legal requirements.
Yeah, so anyway. Whatever the ASA says, I'll follow. So
that's mate. That is a top ASA. The Advertising Standards Agency. So you are working. Tom Scott does this as well. Do you know Tom Scott, the YouTuber?
Yeah.
He works the Advertising Standards rules, so he can't ever get done, because he follows the same rules for TV adverts, and that is a sweet move, mate. And that should fill a lot of people. Sparks will just be confidence, because our advertising in the UK is very tightly monitored. So yeah, fair one for that. Yeah.
So what I've started to do this year, because
I
want to start spending money and making the videos a little bit more professional. So this year, the deal is the company send me a charge point and they pay me a fixed fee. They all pay the fixed fee. No, I won't tell you what it is before you ask.
No, that's all right, mate. As long as you've been up for
so, they all get charged the same fixed fee. They all send me a charge point. The charge point gets sent. I charge them a fixed fee. No contracts are signed. So I can say it's crap. I can say it's good. Now, I do have a rule, right? I'm an EV advocate, and I don't like negativity. I'm not a negative person.
Me neither.
So if I try and do a review, I always try and make it balanced. So I'll say the bad, I'll say some good, and I'll say something in between. And I know I'm balanced because in the past I've reviewed, I can't say the name of the company, but I reviewed their charge point and they sent me legal action to take down the video. I then got 4 emails off their competitors saying, why did you say this charge point's good? We know it's shit.
That's brilliant.
So
brilliant.
I was like, I've got the video perfect. If they're telling me they're gonna sue me, and the competitor is saying,
what kind of arsehole would send you something? Sorry for calling you customer. We don't name them. We don't name people. What kind of arsehole would send you something to do an open review, then try and make you take it down because they didn't like the content? Who would do something like that?
I wonder who. I wonder if. I'm
not pushing the name, mate.
I wonder if any Sparkies might be able to work out who that CEO is of which company.
I mean, like I said, what I will say, if I'm going to talk about a charger, I love my energy. Zappy, the interface, the look, I think it's all fucking fantastic. Yeah, and we'll go into that in a bit. Rolex, man, what the fuck happened to them? They got that desperate, they put a tap on one. I'm not even joking. I thought it was a photo.
Yeah, that's right. They did.
So the green pod, for audience making the show for green pod, and where the RCD was nothing, and where the plug was, they put a tap.
Well, no. But to be fair, they make marines. They make stuff for marine sites. So
yeah, but fucking hell, man! Talk about getting people mixed up.
But what was funny? That was reposted on some internet for car forums for EV owners, and one EV owner went, "Oh, so you can put it out when it goes on fire." That's literally what someone.
I sort of get it. No. I sort of get it in a marina. We do a socket. We do a tap to match, but to mingle that in the EV world. I just thought, what are you doing? I don't know if you could say, I don't know if you're going to back me up here, because like I say, we had to spoke, but they lost it big style. They had the market and they just lost it. As an outsider.
They were first and they were cheap.
Yeah.
They were cheap. The problem that they had is, I think when they initially sold it, they sold it with warranty was responsible to the Sparky. So any warranty work, the Sparky bought the charger and was responsible for all the OZEV claims, warranty claims. So I think when they had a fault in it, and the customer would ring Rolex and say, you know, the electrician's gone bust, can you sort me out a new charger? They'd go, no,
see you later, mate. No one gives a fuck about you.
We haven't sold it yet, and I think they realised that mistake. So they've started to come back. They've got a new charger. They've got 2 new chargers out. They got one with a double socket. It's the first 7 kilowatt double single split for a consumer.
Oh,
the idea is if you've got 2 EVs coming, you only want one charger. But they unveiled that fully charged last year. So I had a look at it. They said they were going to send it to me, and I've never seen it since. And that was about 6 months ago.
So
I think
hold on. So I've got a thing with fully charged. I really like, obviously, everyone likes that Robert Llewellyn, like Crichton from Red Dwarf. Everyone loves him, right?
Yeah, Robert's a great guy.
But that Dan Caesar, he got the raving up with me because I don't like Greta Thunberg. No, because I said all these people taking advice off of a child when she was a child, and he got the raving up with me.
Was it on Twitter?
Yes.
Right. You've got to remember, Dan Caesar gets constant abuse on Twitter.
I didn't send it to him.
I know, but he might have thought that you were just another troll on the internet, and it probably would come on his timeline. Yeah. I mean, that guy gets some serious abuse.
Why?
Serious abuse. I don't know. At one point, he blocked. He gets all the oil industry tycoon, backers of hydrogen. So he's constantly getting abuse. So he's always on defense. I mean, there was sometime last year he actually blocked his Twitter replies unless you were in his friends group.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I can imagine get a lot. I want some stats later. Now these stats, I don't think follower count and stats mean much, but there are certain things I want to look at. So you just said to me you got 14,000 followers, haven't you? On Twitter, which doesn't matter because you might be single serving. So what do your videos get? Because I imagine you might have a lot of subscribers, but some of your videos will get absolutely hammered.
So they jump up and down. They're all over the place. So it depends what the subject is.
So like a Zappy one. Everyone knows a Zappy charger. What's that? Do you know roughly what it's got? I'm just trying to say to people that...
I'd have to look.
Have a look then. But I'm just saying, we're trying to offer Sparkies somewhere. If they want to find out about a charger, you can go and look on EV Dan, whoever he is. and EV Nick's.
EV Dan.
That's someone else, sorry. But yeah, I'm just wondering, is that how you're trying to work? Do you get more single serving friends like Fight Club?
I have access to 800.
Oh, yeah. I can hear you playing me.
No, Nick don't want to hear his own voice.
Oh, yeah, no, there's nothing worse than your own voice. So I'm just going on my EV playlist.
I'm trying to establish is your channel a place where people come, get the information they want about the charge, maybe watch a couple of them there, and then disappear into the abyss?
Yeah, I would say
I think I get I think 80% of my viewers are new viewers. 20%.
And what I'm trying to say, Sparks, is don't be put off if you go on Nick's page and he hasn't got a high sub count because it's a single serving video. People watch it and go. So, obviously people will always see that as being more reputable, but it's not the case.
Yeah. So I think one of the highest charging rate view videos I've got is 46,000 is one of the highest.
And how many videos you got?
Oh, I do a video every week, and and they're not always about EV chargers. There's a lot of EV So, I mean, this year I'm actually doing batteries, inverters, solar.
Oh, wicked!
I've got a battery coming from China this week.
What is it? I've just fitted one to my ass. I've just got it on screen. I've just fitted a Alpha ESS.
Yeah. So this is it's called Lavatech. It's pretty. It's one of the nicest battery inverter packages I've seen. It's nice and flush at the front. It's just really nice system.
I've realised now that I've watched your videos because you do orbits like that, don't you? I've realised now I'm going to go back, and if you have slagged my battery off, I will come round your house and I will hurt you. Yeah, if you've reviewed my battery,
what's your name, Alex?
Like if you've reviewed my battery, it's a bad one. I'll be absolutely mortified.
I've not started the batteries yet. The first battery I'm going to do with the end of this year, and then I've been told off. One company we've already spoken about, they've got a battery coming out this year. So my NG got a battery coming out this year.
Yeah, I've seen that. It's got a lot of
I saw that.
Yeah,
that's exciting.
So Jordan's hinted to me that she'd like me to do a review on it. So hopefully,
mate, can we like years ago, me and Neil Bridgman, he's another podcast host. We interviewed Jordan Brompton.
Yeah,
mate, what a legend. She is awesome. Proper awesome. Go and check her out, Geordie Brompton, on Twitter.
Are we bumming Zappy all night, are we? Because I will just say that their products are brilliant. They look great. The interface is great. It's the only thing a customer can actually read. Their offices look great. And even when they show you internal picture of the factory, it looks fucking mint. I mean...
Do you know what looks better than the Zappy? The Hypervolt.
Nah.
Yes, stop it.
The screen. Let's get into the Zap thing then, because we're clearly bumming Zappa. Nick, am I right or am I wrong? It's got the best screen going. It interfaces the physical interaction with the human who's thick. It's called a customer.
It's not the best looking charge point.
It's
right?
not.
But it's not flashy and tacky. It's not got a stupid flashing light all over it. It looks a bit tacky in my opinion.
Yeah.
Are you talking about the Hypervolt?
I don't know who on earth you might be on about.
We used to be sponsored by Hypervolt, you know.
But we're not anymore.
Did you? Is that why I'm not on this? Is that why I wasn't on the show earlier?
No. Was it Hypervolt that sent you the letter?
No, I'm not saying anything.
No.
The legal requirements, and for audio viewers, Nick's waving his hands and swearing or something.
Yeah, I mean, I've looked at a lot of chat. I mean, my energy. If you're having solar and you've got a battery, hands down, it's the best charge.
I was going to say, I went and saw my mate come to me, and unusually for one of my mates, he went, "What charge shall I get?" I said, "You know, if you was going to get one, I was going to fit it for you. Get a Zapper. I've used them at college, and I really like them. The materials are good. The plastic feels nice. The screen's good. You missed to be able to work out, blah blah blah." And he come back and goes, "I bought a Zapper." I was like, "Oh, you've actually listened to me, have you?" And someone else fitted it for him. I had to go back and sort the CTs out and the programming. It was so easy. I was like, oh, well, if I designed this, I put the CT there, and in the menu it'd be there. Oh, it is Bosch done, and it was all doing his solar, and it all worked perfect. Brilliant.
Didn't Hypervolt have a massive problem because they was using Raspberry Pi like guts? Do you know what Raspberry Pi is?
Yeah, that's
they didn't even use a normal Raspberry. So there was 3 charge point that used Raspberry Pi that I've tested. There was the EO Mini, and then there was Wallbox, and then there was Hypervolt. Now the difference is the Wallbox unit, the Pulsar Plus, they actually had a commercial Raspberry Pi in it. It was a proper commercial board.
Yeah, I've seen them.
The one that Hypervolt were using and EO was literally a consumer grade Raspberry Pi. It shouldn't be in a commercial charge point.
And that'll be why at the minute they're not doing that, because you can't buy them, can you, at the minute? Raspberry Pi's like rocking horse shit at the minute, if anyone doesn't know.
But the new security rules that are coming in for December this year from charge points, because I don't know if you know, they've made some massive changes on charge points this year. So there was the difference for peak time charging and a couple of bits there that came in force in July.
No,
I know.
Yeah. So some smart rigs came in on charge points this year.
I know about the smart. Like everything's got to be smart now, so that you don't so it's not a street with 50 chargers down it, just pull in loads.
Yeah, so there's a new rule coming in December, which is a cybersecurity rule, which basically says they've got to be secure. Basically, what they don't want to happen is a hacker from a foreign country gets hold of all the chargers in the UK and turns them all on at the same time.
Mate, this is a massive industry problem. This is huge industry problem.
Yeah,
so they're bringing it in.
So there's a cybersecurity thing that comes in basically December, and anyone who's using a compute module like a Raspberry Pi or anything like that, anything that's consumer grade hackable won't be allowed to be sold.
Really?
Yeah.
It's bonkers, mate. Just slightly off topic, you get these wireless plugs that you plug your lamp into.
Yeah.
And they all come from China with these Chinese apps. And I'm not saying that they're nasty or they're going to attack us, but if you could sell 50,000 plugs that got connected to 50,000 100-watt loads, and you bang them all off, on the same time on a winter's evening, the national grid will fall over. It's that easy. It's not hard. So to get charge points that are 7 kilowatts a pop, easy peasy. When I work in the energy sector, wherever I work, not necessarily the customer I work for now, our security is insane. Insane levels of security. We don't use USB keyboards or anything like that. We don't pick up USB sticks. We don't do anything with computers that people can see. It is that easy to take down the national grid, and that's why it's all coming in.
So I won't say the name of the company, but one charge point company, I know the CEO pretty well, and he came around for a little chat down at Fully Charged with me, and I have my phone charger there. And he says, I need to go and plug my phone and it's flat. I said, just plug it into my USB. But I'm not plugging into a USB that I don't own. He was that.
Wow.
I know there are leads available. I'm not going to mention these names or go, but they'll empty your phone. And the USB sockets you see in shell garages, just sit here and plug your thingy while you drink your coffee. If you ever plug into a USB port you are not aware of, you are a fucking idiot. Yeah.
Why? What's the worst that can happen?
You can totally hack a phone, mate. You can empty an entire iPhone in 3 or 4 minutes, all the data, everything unencrypted. It's possible on a international level. Normal hackers are probably going to have quite a bit of access, but only ever plug your phone in to a USB cable that is your possession and a USB adapter that is in your possession, because it is the easiest way to get it. Susnet, if anyone's interested, a virus that went around all the nuclear power plants was got into a site on a USB stick. It's security.
Hold on a minute. This is some next level information. What's Susnet?
Susnet. So basically, Susnet is a virus that was written. It's a tiny, tiny virus. It's like 4 or 5 lines of code, and it's simply designed to attack Siemens F7 PLCs, high-speed counting cards, which are predominantly found in the systems used to purify uranium.
What do they do?
So they purify uranium with any machine that purifies uranium will have this card in.
It's basically a spinning thing that purifies uranium, centrifuge that spins.
And to get this into these power plants, what they did was, go on, Nick.
Yeah, well, the Iranians wanted to stop. The US wanted to stop the Iranians from, making plutonium. So what they did is they made this virus and they put it. They knew the uranium system was not on the internet, right? They knew the uranium system wasn't on the internet. So you had to get the virus into the place. So what they did is they just dropped a CD, a music CD, or a USB.
No, I'll tell you, I know exactly what they did. I've seen the report. They put maybe a bit. They put Iranian attractive ladies' holiday photos on a USB stick, and then they added that virus to it, and they dropped it in the car park. And someone put it into a laptop, and went, "Hey, look at these!" And went inside. Look at these! I found the car park. That virus then infected something like 90% of the world's computers, but it's only there to attack 4 or 5 sites in the entire world. It was an absolute perfect virus by all accounts.
Do you know what's funny about that? Porn, right? Good old porn, right?
It's
always porn. Porn pushed the internet forward to the streaming and all that stuff. It's all due to porn. Coming up with new codes and ways to compress files is all due to porn. Everything's safe way of hacking somewhere, put it on porn.
So what you're saying is the next charge point you want is a big flashy naked lady at the front instead.
I do think I might be wrong. This was either EV chargers or car park machines. Someone hacked the screens to play pornography, didn't they?
They did. It was
There you go. Connection of that tangent.
Well,
Finished.
Yeah, it was. Yeah, it was that there's basically someone just stuck new QR code over some of them. They didn't actually hack the machine. They did in Russia. They did hack some in Russia to say Putin is an arsehole.
And what I want to say, what I want to judge this point before I forget, I have a long-running argument with Neil Bridgman on Twitter that EV chargers are just posh sockets. And I believe that they are posh sockets, but the problem is when you've got a posh socket, someone could hack it and do all sorts to it and do.
Well, they are a posh socket, but they're a posh socket that have got all the bits for solar. You've got all the safety security bits in. I mean, at the end of the day, would you rather plug your EV into a 13-plug socket pulling 10 amps for 14, 15 hours, or would you rather plug it into something which has got pen fault detection, RCD, DC leakage protection?
Yeah, and I am just winding Neil up, but what I want to get across to people, is this, and for people that aren't really that bothered, here's the simple reason why they're clever. The charger controls the voltage down the cable. The cable plugs in your car. If the charger goes wrong, it doesn't cut the power off inside the car. It cuts it off at the charger. So the cable coming out, and that's in its most basic form why they're smart.
Well, if you really want to get complicated, it's not actually a charger.
No, it's just a power source.
Yeah, it's a EVS. It's electrical vehicle supply equipment. Is a technical name for EVSE.
So yeah, but which one should we buy? We've covered loads of ground there, some interesting points. But for all the bogs, because you're not sparking it, for all the bog standard sparkers out there who's going to get people coming along, going, I want a charger. And I know you're not going to pick which one should we be looking at? What one?
Gun to your head. Gun to your head.
So should we just come to your channel and look?
Right. I'll be honest. It depends what you want. Do you want the best looking charger, the one that's best for solar, the one that's easiest to fit, the one that's got the most life?
No, what about this?
The longest, most reliable.
The pound for pound best charger.
I don't really look at the costs because.
I
don't. They're usually all about the same cost now. There's no real standout expensive charger. There's certain chargers I avoid, but I definitely won't tell you what they are. But you could watch the reviews and just look. I'm not being funny. You guys are sparks, right? You're not stupid. You know how things should be engineered. If you look at something and it looks like it's been built by a 6-year-old, don't buy it.
Yeah. What? So they're all about the same price now, but. You know what? Do you watch Artisan?
Yeah.
So Artisan have obviously got, they're that kind of company, they're in that kind of area. They've got a lot of Ponzi customers, yeah. Sorry, Artisan, I don't not like you. But I see them putting these charging Cambridge in it. Yeah, just Ponzi people who want, my charger's got to look nice, like proper function, form over function. So do they cost mega money, even though they're just the same?
So if you want the nicest looking charger I've ever viewed at the moment, it'd be the Simpson Partner charger.
What about the Anderson?
The Anderson I've not tested, but it's definitely one of the. So Simpsons and Partners, the guys who run that used to be the directors at Anderson's.
Oh, okay.
Right. So they've got the knowledge.
They're swanky.
Yeah. So but the only problem for me, the only letdown of the Simpsons and Partner charger is it's untethered. And I like tether. If once you've had an EV, you only want a tether charger because you get sick of pulling the cable out.
So do they? You know the snazzy outside casing that looks fantastic, looks like a fucking jukebox something. Are they still making their own electronics in there that are doing all the normal stuff? But their market is you're not a tramp, you don't want a piece of shit on your outside of your ass.
So the circuit. I mean, when I reviewed it, I found a couple of little teething problems with it. So they're a relatively new company to market, so they've got some engineering teething problems. So one of the problems I found that they put the PCB screws right on the end of the board, and if anyone did PCB design in school, you'd learn that you don't put the screw holes at the end because that's where the weakest part of the board isn't where it'll snap. Yeah. So they had a little thing like that, and when DPD come or DHL or whichever parcel company it is delivered it to me, they've obviously kicked the box around a few times, and the PCB was broken on that screw hole.
Oh, and it just becomes a common fault.
Yeah. So I basically said to them, I said, "Are you going to move it?" And they said, "Yeah, we're going to move it." So I said, "Well, I'm leaving it in the review, but as long as you said you're going to move it, I'll say in the review it's going in." But the actual PCB, the way they designed it, I mean, they had you guys will know about it, but it had a shunt control on, which is something I've never seen in an EV charger before.
No, I don't know what shunt control is.
It's just.
I believe my understanding is if it detects one of the relays is stuck, it will flip the relay off with a manual switch. So it has like a lever arm inside the
lever, basically.
Yeah, and it just turns it off basically.
So that's the good looking ones, but they still function the same. What else we got to go at? Obviously, integration with EV is a big one.
So you got the OMI. There's an OMI charger that connects to pretty much every single car app. So if you've got an API app for your car where you log in, OMI will let you log in. So you go in, you put your car details, and that means when you plug your car in, it knows that your car's at 20%. So if you say I want to charge it to 100%, and you've only got a 4-hour window because you're on maybe one of these cheap rates at 7.5p, it'll say in that 4 hours you're only going to be able to get 80%.
Oh, it's
because if you're waking up in the morning going, well, the car's only charged to 80%, it'll tell you exactly what you can get in the hours that you've asked for.
I'll tell you what, then, on the flip side of that, then, because you say you can't tell us a charge, which I respect. If I go to a job at a house, I get up and then the house is there, what should I be looking to take into account of that property to pick the right charger? So PV.
So PV, battery. If it's got PV, pretty much every charger can do PV. Doesn't really matter, right?
There you go. Fucking, I didn't know that. So yeah. So pretty much that's standard stuff now, is it? Because your EV owner's going to have PV.
Yeah, every charger can just do pure PV, because all it'll do, they'll put a CT clamp around the main incoming tails, and it knows if power's going in or going out. Okay, it's a weird hand gesture for me to do, but yeah.
For all of us, it looks like Nick's wanking.
Yeah, but it knows if it's going. It knows if it's going, into the house or away from the house, because the CT can see which way the power's traveling. So obviously, if it sees it being exported, it'll ramp up the charger to compensate. If it sees that you're importing, it can ramp down the charge rate, so you're not importing. So they can do that. Pretty much all of them can do that.
So every Spark can go to an house tomorrow and they've found knowledge that most EV chargers on the market that aren't absolute turd will work with PV.
Yeah.
What else? So what about this? So then we're considering the supply, the size of the supply, I'm assuming?
Well, the next problem then is battery. So if it's got a battery, they can all work with batteries, but you have to wire them a bit differently if you're only using one CT. Where Zappi comes into its own is you can have 3 CTs. Yes, you can have one on the supply, one on the solar, and one on the battery. And the reason why you'd want an extra CT on the battery is if you've got PV and you've got a battery, you don't want to drain your battery to charge your EV. That's absolutely stupid. You don't want to do that. So the Zappi goes, well, you're draining the battery, so it'll stop the EV charging and wait either for the off-peak hours or wait till the sun's shining. I mean, you can change it in the Zappi setting. You can make it do whatever you want. But if you've got a battery, why would you want to drain it into your EV? It's just completely
You need to have is it the Yeti to do all that?
No, the Zappi has 3 CT clamps inside it. So you can use an Eddy. So there is a problem with this Harvey, you mean, not the Eddy.
Sorry, yeah.
Easiest way to remember it.
The other day, me and my mates started calling it the Brian Harvey. Yeah. You can't forget it then.
Well, no, the easiest way to remember it is Harvey harvests energy. Harvey, because it harvests the energy.
Very good.
That's why it's a powerless, because it's powerless CT clamp. You don't need to power it because it powers off the current in the actual cable.
Which is bonkers, but never mind.
Yeah. There's loads of companies that are doing it. There's loads of companies that can do that already. In fact, the Simpsons and Partner one, they told me they got a CT clamp that does exactly the same. It harvests the power out of the cable. It's just basically, you've seen how magnets work. It's the same way with a CT clamp. It pulls that power from that magnetic energy.
What I will say, just to interject, say, if you are a bog, I mean, I appreciate a lot of the viewers of this channel are bog standard domestic Sparkies.
That's me. I'm not domestic.
Bog standard Sparkies.
That's me.
Like commercial, industrial, domestic. This is going to be a good little earner at weekends for you fitting these. And what we'll say is that what Nick's just said in the past 5 minutes is I've done a lot of research and knowing about how these batteries, you don't have to know about batteries, you don't have to know about EV, but knowing how they integrate with a house and how these charge work with them, if you can explain that in simple terms to a customer or a person at the weekend, you're going to bash and work out.
I've got to be honest. I am completely I am learning so much right now. Like, usually you can't shut me up. I've barely said about 5 sentences.
I thought you'd had a stroke, to be honest.
The other thing I'd say, if you're an electrician, right, and you are not, if you're not doing solar, battery, inverter, and EV chargers now at the moment, you are insane.
If you're a domestic electrician, I'll agree on that.
No, even commercial.
Oh, yeah, but the thing is, I'll be fair, because you're not in the trade, you don't understand that most commercial industrial sparks don't want to go no fucker's ass and deal with the members of the general public. That's the problem.
Oh,
but
yeah,
I agree.
No,
there's
but I mean,
huge money to be made.
But I mean, even for me at work, so I've just ordered 165 panels for our workplace because we're paying 75, 80p a kilowatt hour. So
yeah, we do a lot of behind the meter. We call it beyond. Yeah.
So solar's a no-brainer for us, and pretty much all businesses want EV chargers putting in for either the staff or themselves or the directors. So there's plenty of opportunity for commercial, even commercial sparks to be putting EV chargers in.
We're going to get you back on to talk about behind the meter and batteries and stuff like that because it's going to be massive. And like you're saying, I would say that I'm on quite a few. I quite like Facebook as a thing. There's a lot of groups you can just hang around in, reading information, find out what the feel is, and I like doing that. And I've noticed that I'm on EV, like DIY EV groups full of civilians basically, and they're all going, I can't get a decent installer, can anyone recommend installers? And I'm thinking, if I weren't working for a good firm, I would literally, if you can go and learn a bit about EV PV and do a decent job for people and not rob them, you could make an absolute fortune because there's desperation in people at the minute to get this stuff put in.
And then your next one is obviously heat pumps.
And obviously meter bypassing, that's going to be massive.
Oh yeah.
I'm not a man into heat pumps. I've not got into them, but I'm big into because I'm putting them in my own house. I'm big into the EV.
They're quite expensive though, aren't they? Like the whole get up and caboodle is quite expensive to get going. But there are grants.
So at the moment, there's a government grant that tops it up to gives you $5,000 off. So the Octopus Energy, who I do a lot of stuff with, so hands out there, I do a lot of stuff. They pay me a lot. They pay me a lot in referrals. So I think they're great. And well, there's a big octopus behind me.
Well, yeah,
but the
not charity here.
They do a lot. They do a lot for the renewables industry, but they're doing heat pumps at the moment, and the typical install prices after government grant, people are paying $3,000 to $4,000.
I'll just say there. We've just bummed Eddie and not Eddie, Brian Harvey. No, we just bummed Zappy because we like him, and we've given our honest opinion that we like him. Yeah.
Do you know what? I can't not like him. I can't not like him.
And what you were just saying there, Octopus Energy, they're doing stuff different in the market. They are the my energy of the wholesale energy market, and I got a lot of time for them. And I like the fact that their CEO will go on stuff and say, look, shit's expensive. We don't make a lot of money out, and give an honest view on it. And I really like that from Octopus. I think it's refreshing.
I can tell you now, Greg is one of the nicest people.
Look at first name boy over here. First name boy. Oh, Greg, Robert, Danny.
He invited me to an art expedition pre-COVID, and it was when I was I had a couple of YouTubers, I had subscribers, but I was about 3,000 or 4,000, and he invited me to come to an art expedition, and he came over and said hello. He goes, I'll come speak to you in a bit, and then I never saw him for the whole night. He disappeared. Right. And then at the end of the night, he said, I'm sorry I've not seen you, but it's the first time I've seen my mum for 4 months. So I've spent the entire night with her. And I thought, that's the type of guy that I, just so honest.
As well, I don't shill you. I don't take freebies. I don't want anyone to give me anything or sponsor me.
I do.
Can you get me one of them Zappy units that does all the local API, please? I'm begging you.
Oh, what? Sorry, is that
them little Zappy? Them not Zappy. Them new Octopus units that do the local. I know you've got one. Please have a word with your mate and get one of them. I really, really want one.
I've actually got 2 of them at the moment.
I'm not even gonna. You know what? I'm not gonna fucking take it off anyone. I want like that, but I want one of those so bad. Please get me one.
They are going to be selling them. But you can, if you ask on Twitter for one, they will give you one.
Yeah, I've tried that. Well, maybe a fast fire you on Twitter because I do want one because I'm mad. I'm very, very boring and I love all the statistics of the home energy stuff. It's just.
Do you want me to ask, like it's going to make any difference? Do you want me to ask from the official Monday Club account?
Yeah, they'll ring me on a Sunday night and start kicking off at me then.
Yeah.
So full disclosure, we are having like a little private joke, and I feel like it's rude for leaving Nick out. Basically, there is like a beef, a war brewing behind the scenes.
Yeah.
But that's all next week.
I'll tell you, I'm going to have to comment on it, yeah, because I know someone's going to watch it, and I want everyone who's involved in this, yeah. This is the Electricians podcast by electricians for electricians, where we help electricians out the best we can. I'm not sponsored. I don't take any money for this podcast whatsoever. Sam gets sponsorship, but he puts a lot of work in. Verso is sponsoring this one. You will see when he does the Verso readout. I don't say much. Sam has put those sockets into his little girl's bedroom. I've not physically handled them, although I have arranged to go to a wholesaler where they're sold next week so I can give my honest opinion on them. That is how it works around here. You won't catch us pulling them stunts like, hey, man, use this, blah, blah, blah. It doesn't happen. And that's part of my thing of being on the podcast, but I will give my honest opinion. And that's why we get people like Nick on who know what they're on about and give their honest opinion. And that's why we're here to support Sparks in that manner. So, yeah, we don't shill anything out, is what we're saying. But we have a hoo-ha with someone about it.
You're not wrong.
Will be revealed.
What I will say is there has been times right, where I've took money for sponsors and I'm like, why have I done this? I'll be honest with you. Over the 4 years I've been doing this now, I've had sponsors that I haven't believed in. And I have not always, I don't know. Basically, the sponsorship for this podcast it's an advertising platform, so people can advertise on here. I don't endorse the products as such. However, that has changed. The only products, when Nick left, it left a bit of a gap for me to branch out and do things a little bit differently. Jamie come on board, didn't want anything to do with sponsors, not interested, doesn't want it. Fair enough. I happened across Verso, who are excellent. Hit it off with William Winter. He's the CEO, the founder. Told me his story. He's going to be coming on the podcast because he's an interesting chap. And the whole thing with Verso is because I genuinely like their story, their products, and everything that goes with them. So yeah, I will shamelessly hawk Verso stuff.
Fine. And we've got Nick on, and we've got Nick on because we are trying to show Nick's vibe here. Nick, he's clear from talking to Nick. He knows what he's on about. He's honest about what he's doing, and his YouTube channel will be full of useful information like that. And we're trying to not just bring across the fact that he reviews it, but his personality is into it, and that he's a nice guy. And you can go, if you're a Sparky, I don't know why I've got this toothbrush for audio.
I don't know where that looks like my little
That's a Charles toothbrush. It's Charles toothbrush I'm throwing around. But what we're trying to say is we are getting people on here that if you see it on here, if you talk about if we get people on, you can absolutely take them to the bank and cash them. Like
and that is one of the reasons we got Nick on, because he's genuine. He's been on with Efix as well. So, here's the thing. We're trying to do things properly. We're getting good people on. Yeah, now. Well, no, you know what it is? It's a learning process. Nick will attest to this. With sponsors, you have to sort of find your way, don't you? You have to find your way, getting paid and stuff like that.
So I've got a rule, right? For me, YouTube's a hobby. Okay, it's a hobby that now makes me a decent amount of money. Okay, it's
still working.
I still work. I work full time. I'm very. I work as I own a car dealership with my dad. My dad's got lots of. We've got quite a lot of commercial properties we rent out. So YouTube to me is just a hobby. It's fun. It makes me, it makes me a good amount of money, but it's a hobby.
But that's part of the hobby, isn't it? The hustle's part of the hobby, isn't it?
Yeah. But to me, I can take money off a sponsor quite happily, right? But I need to declare. In fact, I did a video with a Chinese manufacturer on a charge point, okay, and it was under the new deal where they send me the charge point, they pay a fixed fee, and I review it. And I did the review, and they said, "Oh, you've been very critical about these things." And I was like, "Well, yeah." They basically had jump wires all over the charge point. Instead of running the tracks on the PCB, they had lots of jump wires. Yeah. It means it can be desoldered. There's loads of points of failure, right? And I made a comment that it was, poor manufacturing. Okay, and they asked me not to post the video, and I was like, well, they asked me to take it out of the video, to leave all the good stuff in, and they offered me a bribe of 10 grand.
That's wedge.
I'm taking it. I'm taking it.
They offered me 10 grand.
You used to take it, Sam. Stop being like that.
Yeah. They offered me 10 grand to take it out. Right. But the thing is, if I did that, my people who watch me, they invest in me. Okay. Yeah. So they watch me because they trust me. As soon as I take a bribe to remove something like that, I've lost all my integrity and all my viewers are gone.
Correct, mate. And that integrity to me is a massive part of this. Yeah, being on this thing,
and you've got to keep that level of integrity. So, yes, I could have removed it, and I could have put this as an advert, right? So I made them that offer. I said, "Don't pay me 10, okay, pay me 5, and I'll say it's an advert." okay, and I'll take all that stuff out that you don't want, and I'll say it's an ad. And they said no.
Right, yeah.
They said no. What we'll do
He's got
is
savvy motherfucker, Nick, isn't he? I like you.
So
what
they
you're
said,
coming on again?
So in the end, they said no, keep the money and just don't post a review. So that's what I did. So I just get the money.
You what? Keep the money and don't do anything.
Yeah. So
Winner.
So they gave you 10 grand.
No. I never
the original fee.
They paid me the original fee, which everyone pays, and I got to keep the charger and not post the review. So I got paid.
I was going to say, we're in the wrong business, Jamie. We need to start doing an EV podcast.
This is really interesting. It's really interesting how people work. I know you're not talking figures, but it's nice to understand what outcomes. Because I mean, in the early days, did you have to go out and buy? Did you go out and buy chargers? Is that how you had to do it? Because it's not cheap business for you to do that.
No, so I already had a pretty established sort of subscriber count. So it was quite easy to go to a couple of. So I went to a couple of charge point companies.
So sorry, just to make it clear, because I want the viewers to understand. You'd already got a channel on EV charging thingamybobs. I
already had a channel on EV cars, so reviewing cars,
so you've got
showing
it
how cars work. So the channel was established to be an EV. You're an EV owner and you're interested in learning about.
And that ends you post weekly videos on your channel because you're not always talking about EV chargers, are you? Talking about the old ecosphere of EV, right?
Yeah,
cool.
I mean, sometimes I might be talking about smart meters. Sometimes I might be talking about what the cheapest electricity deal is. Sometimes I might be talking about solar. Sometimes I might be giving a tip on, here's an EV car. This is how you do something on it, which is a bit hidden that no one knows about. So,
right, cool. Yeah.
You know, it's all EV or battery links. I mean, sometimes I'll do a gadget review because, you know, I mean, give you a prime example. There's an Oculus headset here. I basically wanted to buy one. And I didn't want to pay for it. So I thought, how can I get this through a HMRC claim? I'll claim it as a business expense and review it.
I would never, ever claim all my audio-visual equipment from my company as a taxable expense, mate. Oh, no, sorry. I absolutely did that. I do apologise.
Yeah, so basically, if I come up with I bought a pint in the pub on my smartwatch to do a smartwatch review so I could claim a round of drinks in the pub on HMRC. That was fun when the accountant asked me what that round of beer was for.
It's got to be agent, tell you.
But I put it in the video, you know. There's me scanning my phone for a round of beer of about 20 people, and they were all over the moon with it.
Is that a thing?
Yeah, it is, yeah.
I'm going to start buying cocaine on camera.
I was just simply seeing if I could drive on it, officer, for a YouTube video. Good day to you.
What's really funny is because I started doing this, I've noticed that other YouTubers do it. So Tom Scott did it where he bought himself loads of food and cake because he was on like a trial, and he goes, "Oh, it's a business expense. I'm on a trial." So he bought himself loads of food and cake. And I tell you what, what's he called now? He's got the bunker in his garden.
Colin Furs.
Colin Furs. So look at Colin Furs' video. He did a video on building a garden shed.
Yeah.
And I thought, he's just done that so he can build a garden shed.
Someone I know knows Colin Furs. And I said to him, I said, like, don't want to spoil this, but is he mint? And he says, yeah, he's fucking mint. He's a dead nice bloke. I don't know if I want to spoil the secret, but you know his house.
I already know what you're going to say.
It's not his house. Yeah, it's a set. He's got a whole house as a set. But I mean, he's basically a plumber from Lincolnshire that started off as a plumber from Lincolnshire, doing some mad shit, and now he's a multi-million-pound YouTuber. It's brilliant.
Good for him.
Did you know what he's going to do to the end of the tunnel?
Oh yeah, but yeah, with the car going up and down. He's
gonna have it like Thunderbirds where the car goes in.
If anyone wants to see Colin Furs, is worth checking out. Obviously, Nick's worth checking out on YouTube. Colin Furs worth checking out on YouTube. He's digging a tunnel under his house. But the best bit is he asked for planning permission after he'd started building it. Yeah, if you want some recommendations, my recommendations this week are Colin Furs and obviously Nick.
Yeah, no, he's a great guy. He's got some really nice cars as well, actually.
Is he all? Nice. Where are you from, Nick? What area are you in?
I'm Derbyshire, Manchester area.
Don't want to be too precise. I recognise in the twang you've got. That's all. You can't be too far.
I'm not a fan of that. I'm not a fan. I worked at Stockport for a couple of months, and I'm not a fan.
Yeah, Stockport's rough.
Was it?
Yeah, I'm a Cheshire boy. I'm from Cheshire, really. Originally from Cheshire.
Is that why you've got plenty of dough?
No, I got plenty of dough because my dad moved here from Italy when he was 12 and worked his arse off.
Nice.
So yeah, my dad's a grafter. He's by no means smart. He's just.
And you're riding it out on his money there, doing EV charging shit.
Do you know what? When I first started the YouTube channel, he proper took the piss when he saw something. I mean, we've all watched ourselves back when we first started, but crap. And my dad started laughing, taking the piss, and then customers started coming in to buy cars off us.
And he's like, "You're like, fuck you."
And he's like,
"Oh, so he was doing it so that it was original. It was always part of the business, not part of the business.
No.
Association was there."
I used to film in the showroom at work, just because if I was bored at work, I had nothing to do. I thought, I'll do a video on EVs. I've got an EV here. I'll do a video on it while I'm sat here, not doing anything.
Nice.
So it originally used to be there, and then lockdown happened, and I built myself a studio in my house. So the whole room's full of soundproofing in here. It's basically a fire hazard. It's got foam on every single wall.
What I do like is like the organic, mate. It's really interesting to hear that talk, because I like organic YouTubers. So electrical wise, like I like watching Nick Bundy videos because I know he records it and edits it himself. I like watching Nagy videos because he was quite organic. I think he gets it edited now, but I like that. I like to see people doing it all themselves. It makes it much more like relatable to me. When they start editing them, it really puts me off. But so you're still doing all that, and obviously you had the bonus of being able to record in the showroom, because no normal employer would let you do that, would there? Yeah.
So I mean, I'm my cameraman, I'm my sound man, I'm my editor. Occasionally, I'll get a friend to hold a camera for me. If I'm doing a car shoot, I've got a friend he's an older chap, he's retired, and he has nothing better to do. And he literally said, "Oh, if you have an EV, just ring me." So I ring him up. I go, "Do you want to come and film this new, pre-product car that's not come out yet?" Yeah. Come on.
So as a bonus as well, because you've got the dealership, you're getting motors through. You can just review without any expense incurred.
Yeah. So I mean, I've reviewed prototype cars, and all sorts of different stuff.
So I want to talk about EV cars for a minute.
Yeah, go on.
I'm really. There's a YouTube channel, and it's Kimi Räikkönen. Is it not Kimi Räikkönen? Is it Kimi Räikkönen?
I know who you mean. You mean the angry bald guy with hardly any hair?
No. I'm talking about
right.
No, it's Kimi Räikkönen, and he bought the Rimac.
Yes. Sorry. Yes.
Mate.
No. Yeah.
Rosberg. That's who it is.
Yeah.
Rosberg. Nico Rosberg. He bought the Rimac, and he does this video about buying it, going to the.
I need to Google this. I ain't got a clue what's going off.
So Rimac is owned by Mate Rimac. So Mate Rimac makes all the motors for the Porsche Taycan. He makes other people's electric cars fast.
And he's also making the new Bugatti hybrid as well, isn't he?
Oh, yeah. Look at this now. Yeah. Wow.
Mate, but the Rimac, let me tell you, that is an unbelievable. Like Nico Rosberg's channel is unbelievable. It's like a TV show. First of all, it's not organic. It's fully produced. It's full him crew. Swanning about on a yacht, then going to Croatia to buy this Rimac because it's a Croatian company, and the car itself, it's so advanced that they went round to certain racetracks all around the world, done laps around, got a pro race driver to do laps around the track, program that into the car so you can go to a track in the Rimac, race around it, think you're good, press a button, and the car will take you round the track like a professional race driver by itself. It's phenomenal what they can do.
You'll know this because you do cars. Are EVs getting more advanced? Because with traditional cars, they just rob old parts like, we'll use that windscreen motor from another car. But are EV cars being built from the ground up?
Yes.
Is that how it's working?
Most EV cars now are built from the ground up because they have to. So
everything's optimized, isn't it? You can't. The windscreen wiper motor's got to be the lightest, super efficient thing because you can't take one out of a normal car. Is that what the crack is?
No, they can sometimes take them out of a normal car. I mean, the Tesla Model S, for example, has got some same motors and switch gears as a Mercedes. So if you ever want to buy a Mercedes part for your, I think it's an A class. It's cheaper to buy it from Tesla. It's the same motor. It's the same thing. But
I didn't think it'd be that way around. I thought it was going to say the other way around. Though.
Yeah, I thought it'd be.
Yeah, no, it's the other way around. But that's in really old Model S's. But I mean, most cars that they haven't changed the wheels, so it's still a 12-volt battery system. Even in EVs, the lights are still 12 volt.
Right,
the radio's
all the
still 12
basic
volt.
electronics.
All the basic electronics are 12 volts.
Because there's loads of it available for them to pick from.
Yeah, and you don't reinvent the wheel if the wheel already exists, and you can't use the 400-volt system because people like to tinker and DIY. I mean, people DIY with home electrics. Can you imagine DIYing with 400-volt DC?
Yeah, but there's a guy. What's his name? He's always on Joe Rogan.
Yeah, I know exactly what you mean. The black guy who's like a mad electrical car. He's a genius.
Ricky. Is it Rick?
He's so in deep into that electronics of EV cars. It's bonkers. It's absolutely insane.
He used to be a banker, and he learned everything.
Yeah, that's what I mean. The best thing about it is he's learned that from being a banker.
He wanted a Tesla, so he went and bought a scrapped one, and then they was really funny about letting him like work on it. So then, like, because what they do is once a Tesla's crashed, like that goes down and their system has crashed. So you go and say, "Oh, I need to buy like I don't know, a new motor and some other bits and pieces for the drivetrain and whatever," and they go, "Nah, bitch, that's crashed. You can't have shit."
Yeah, that's the problem. It's like it's basically what I see with this EV is that it's a lot more subscription policy. Like you can't own anything. It's all
It's like if you want like a certain upgrade on your Tesla, it's like 10 grand, and it's literally an upgrade.
It's in the car, isn't it? It's software.
Yeah, it's just software.
But isn't that a wonderful idea, really? If you can buy, if they're going to sell the car at the same price, and let's say you bought a car which didn't have heated seats, okay? And you
the BMW we're talking about now, aren't we?
And you sold it second hand with no heated seats. You didn't want heated seats, you didn't buy them, you sold it second hand. The next owner goes, God, I wish I had heated seats. You can buy it now.
You know what, mate? I think the problem is that it's ingrained that we buy things very much in the UK. We buy things. We've been ingrained to buy things. And I get what you're saying. That's an interesting way of looking at it. But what I would also say is it leaves it open to people start trying to hack shit, doesn't it?
Oh, yeah.
That's a total interesting concept that, hey, mate, come up to you in the pub and go, all right, mate, is that your BMW outside? Yeah. Do you want to buy some fucking heated seats or what?
Yes. Yes, I do.
I mean, it's bound to happen. I mean, someone hacked the Tesla to get extra horsepower out of it, and then
which I'm amazed by.
Yeah, but then Tesla released an update that bricked the update from working. So if you want all the latest Tesla updates, you couldn't have the latest, faster, aftermarket update. And most people want all the updates for Tesla because it might be they found a security flaw where someone can disarm your brakes or whatever. So.
That's what I'm talking about. In the good old days, you press a pedal, it would push a vial of oil into a bigger vial of oil, and your brakes would work. Now you press a pedal, some Chinese hacker in Tongwon province is steering you into a tree. But that's the way it's going.
But that's like if you link back to sort of the EV chargers and stuff. That's why that new rule's coming in December. It's to stop.
Yeah,
it's to try and restrict the security. And some there's a charger I know that's pretty much compliant now. It can be. They are always at the front.
Why you got to be so secretive? What?
That's a positive.
So the best built charger, in my opinion, from a
allegedly
from a technical perspective, looking at it, but it's ugly, right? And it's a company called Indra. So if you look at Indra, their charge point, it's got one complete seal all the way around. There's no joins in their waterproof seals. One complete seal, right? It's the screws are good quality. They're all captive. Everything's Vargo, contactless clips inside. There's no screw terminals. It's just really well put together, but it's friggin' ugly, and the app is shit.
Oh, right. Now, I was going to say, I could deal with ugly because it's functional. Yeah, it doesn't matter. It's like my camera being ugly, you can't see it. It's something I use to do a job. But the app being bad, how have they made that error? Why have they not got people on board to deal with that?
So, I've not signed an NDA for this, so I can actually say it. They've got a new one coming out because I helped.
Oh, Phil. So, I don't think. You mean you're not giving away secret information?
Yeah. So I helped them design their new app.
Nick.
So you're a bit of a player, Nick.
We got to see Nicky Big Balls
have a go, chappy.
Well, the thing is that because I've reviewed so many chargers, I get a lot of companies now saying, "Can we consult you? Can we consult you on our product?"
And that costs money, doesn't it?
I'm so impressed with this. It's really interesting tale. How long have you been doing this? You say?
EV chargers for 2 years, 3 years. And
the old thing. When did you start YouTube?
4 or 5 years ago.
And obviously, already having the background, then doing the YouTube, and now you're back in your background consulting on the future of EV charging apps because you know them inside out. That's bonkers.
Do you feel like I failed? I've been doing this about 4 years. Still at the bottom of the barrel.
Yeah, I mean, the most money I made last year was selling consultancy reports to EV Chat. So once I reviewed all the chargers, I compiled a report of the good and bad points of every single company's charger. And then I went back to all the companies that I reviewed the charger and said, "Do you want to buy this report?"
You are
all
one
your
savvy
chargers?
Motherfucker, Nick. Fucking hell, I'm sat here in awe of how great you are. I'm not even joking. That is bonkers.
And, yeah, that was my best year of money. And one of the companies that bought it off me, they said to me, they went, "This is the most valuable report ever. You've undervalued it." So because they saw that I undervalued it, the next company I sold it to, I sold it for another $2,000 more.
that's a Concorde tape. If anyone hadn't heard, when Concorde was flying, generally the people that flew on Concorde didn't buy the tickets. They were bought by their helpers or receptionists or PAs and stuff. So what they did was they went to all the people on the flight, went, "How much do you think it costs to fly on this flight?" And they all went like, "Oh, 12 grand, 13 grand, 15 grand. And there's only charge rate, so they put the price up to match the expectation of the person flying. But that is bonkers. I'm so in awe of that, mate. Fair play to you for doing that. And
fair play, big time.
To get up to consultant level like that with major firms, that is impressive, mate.
Yeah.
But fair play.
What makes me laugh is occasionally I'll get people in the comments arguing on certain videos. And they go, "Oh, you don't know what you're talking." And they go, "You don't know what you're talking about this company, you know, about these charges." And I think to myself, yeah, I've just took several £1,000s off one of those companies because they wanted to consult my information. So if I didn't know anything, why are they paying me?
Do you know what? It's funny though. It's funny because people get quite tribal about things, don't they? So you'll have people who are my energy, like bumming my energy. You have people bumming like it's a bit like Android and Apple.
I'll give you the worst people, right, to get tribal. EV owners are.
Oh yeah, they are. They're like audio files. If anyone knows what that reference means.
Yeah. And once they sync the tick, but if you really want to annoy certain EV owners, right, and if you look at the video and want to read the comments, it's the best laugh you'll ever have. And it's when you tell an EV owner that a granny cable, as in a 3-pin plug charger, isn't safe, they lose their shit.
Not as much as they do about green flashes on number plates.
I know. What's that about?
I literally put it as a joke. I'm going to put a bit of green tape on my van, and I got hammered on Twitter. It's the worst response to a comment I've ever had.
People are nuts about that. It's like that number plate is like, I've bought an EV. I've gone out. I've done it. That's my gold standard.
They treat those number plates like, I'm not going to name it because it's offensive to people. It's like they treat it like a religious text.
Yes, I do.
It's that hardcore.
Yeah, I'm gonna put one on mine.
Green insulation tape, laughing.
Well, just be careful because it's technically against the DVLA rules, and you can get fined for 120.
Oh right, technical boy.
I'm pissed anyway. So.
But I mean, to be honest, as an EV owner, it's not the green flash things never bothered me. If anything, if someone mistakes a diesel van for an EV, that means they're more likely to buy an EV because they think that's an EV. It doesn't bother me. They don't have any benefits. Come on.
What do you know about EV vans and stuff coming out over the next year or so?
Everybody's bringing stuff out at the moment.
Really?
Yeah. So depends what you want. So there's Maxis. Maxis bringing loads of little bits out. That they're the ones that DPD are always driving around in.
Okay.
What are Amazon using? Are they Mercs?
They use a mix between Maxis vans, LDVs, and Mercs.
What's this new company called Every? EVRI.
Oh, that's Hermes.
Hermes, but I've seen them electric vans as well. If the couriers are getting into electric vans, there's a future for it. No matter what anyone says. I don't know about jobbing builds and that just yet, but obviously they know exactly what they're doing. They manage their fleet, don't they, really well? So, but if couriers are doing it, it's happening, isn't it? EV vans of the future.
Who's the one to watch over the next year or so? Got to be Ford, surely.
Ford have got some nice stuff coming out. Yeah, to be honest, the thing about EVs and as general rule is, even with cars, I mean, no matter what car you drive today, they all pretty much drive the same. Some are faster, some are slower, but they all hold the road exactly the same, right? It's just put together differently with a different badge on. So, you're basically buying a car that's built better, built worse, goes faster, goes slower, is reliable, less reliable. But EVs in general, they're pretty much, a motor's a motor and a battery's a battery.
What are you rolling in, Nick? Are you going to tell us what you're rolling around in?
This
week, because you've been a big balls.
So my wife's got a Vauxhall Corsa electric. and I drive a Tesla or a BMW i3.
You make your missus drive around the course, you bastard.
Yeah, and I'm driving around in a Tesla or BMW.
Tesla or the BMW is fucking, yeah. But so you practice what you preach, though. What I'm saying, you're completely immersed in this, aren't you? Totally.
Oh, yeah, well, I bought my first EV in 2015, so I've been driving around since then.
I said it to the game.
So you're fully in. So you're fully in.
Oh, like I said, I am a full-on tree hugger. I'm quite happy to admit it.
You know what I like about them, EVs? Does anyone remember Little Chefs?
Yeah.
Right, so you go somewhere for the day and you drive somewhere and you'd stop and you'd go in the Little Chef and have some food and then you carry on driving.
never would. My mum and dad would never go in them places.
My granddad would do it because they were from an era where you had to stop your car regularly because it was just over because it was shit. And I have fond memories of a journey, not just being like somewhere you drive where you're desperate for a piss all the way, but being an adventure, driving, stopping, driving, stopping. And I think EVs bring that back, which I think is quite nice. It's bringing back the fact that you will stop, look around where you're doing, ever walk around, not just sit there and gudge in your car. And I find that quite interesting as a concept at the minute that you've got to stop. You've got
you and Fred Dibner are buddies.
I love Fred Dibner.
Well, I mean, to be honest, EVs, you don't really have to stop that much. I mean, I drove from up where I am, so Buxton direction.
Yeah, yeah.
Stockport, Buxton direction. I drove all the way from here to Farnborough to the fully charged road. Yeah, and I stopped at. I stopped at. I didn't have to stop. I could have got all the way there.
Really?
Yeah, but I stopped at the Hilton Hotel at Gatwick because it was because the charger was 22p a kilowatt hour. And I literally stopped there because I'm tight.
I'll tell you what, mate. You're definitely coming back on because this technical chat's been amazing. But I would love to talk to you on a separate podcast just about the network, just about the EV charge network.
Yeah.
Get a bit into it. That's
but
really
I mean,
interesting concept.
But I stopped there just because it was 22p a kilowatt. Not because I needed the charger, just because I didn't want to pay 50p a kilowatt near the hotel. I just wanted to pay. So I just stopped there for 22p. I stopped there for 30 minutes, had a pee. Had a coffee in the hotel, and by the time I walked back to the car, I just waited around for 5 minutes and unplugged and left. It literally took me half an hour to do the things I needed to do when I got there.
Wow. And on that, Monday Club. We're out.